Hello and welcome to another episode of Pick 3 DST, where I give you 3 defenses I like and 1 defense I'm fading for week 3 of the NFL season. I'm your host, Eric Samulski, and as a reminder, these are not my full weekly defense rankings. To find those, you can go to RotoBaller.com or click the link at the bottom of this document. But we're going to jump right into the defense I'm fading for this week, and it's the Cleveland Browns. I see them consensus ranked first, but I have them 9th. And I wonder, are we really going to do this again? Yes, it was a miracle comeback by the Jets last week, but the Browns' defense also wasn't great. They're bottom 3rd in the league in pressure rate. They've forced only 2 turnovers, and they've given up scores on 40% of their drives. And that's before we have this potential issue with Myles Garrett, who didn't practice on Tuesday with a neck injury. We're recording this on Wednesday, so we'll see what kind of practice or participation he can get in on Wednesday. But if Garrett doesn't play, I'm definitely moving the Browns even further down on my rankings. The Steelers are not a good offense. We know that. However, they've only given up 4 sacks in 2 games, and they face the Bengals and the Patriots, who are 2 pretty good defenses. They also are tied for 4th best in the NFL in turnover rate right now. So if they're not really giving up sacks and they're not really turning over the ball, then the only reason you're playing the Browns is because you're hoping for a low-scoring game. And that's fine, but that's a pretty low ceiling for a fantasy defense, which makes them playable, but not a defense that I think right now is a top 5 unit. And now for my sleeper defense of the week, I think it's the Bucs. I see them as consensus 15th right now, but I have them 3rd. And I have no idea why we have a top-tier defensive unit ranked outside of the top 10 by consensus. The Bucs lead the league with 10 sacks through 2 games. They're also tied for 4th in turnovers forced and remain a top-tier run defense, which is important in their upcoming game against the Packers. So are the Bucs ranked outside of the top 10 because we're worried about the Packers? We know this isn't the same Packers team, right? The Packers that had Davante Adams. This is not that unit. The Packers have given up 7 sacks in 2 games, so that Bucs pass rush is gonna be a problem. And the Bucs run defense should at least hold Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in check, so I don't really think Green Bay has the weapons to pressure the Bucs here, and I think the Bucs are really being overlooked right now. My solid defense of the week is the Kansas City Chiefs. Consensus, they're ranked 16th, but I have them 7th, and I think this might be a situation where, much like the Packers, people are overvaluing this Colts team. This Colts team has problems. It's not the same offensive line we've come to know. They've allowed 7 sacks in 2 games, and that's against the Texans and the Jaguars. The Chiefs are 3rd in the NFL in pressure rate, so they are going to bring pressure against this offensive line in Matt Ryan's face, and that could be a problem because Matt Ryan has not looked good so far. He's 37 years old. He's pretty immobile right now. He threw 3 pretty bad interceptions in that loss to the Jaguars, and I think if the Chiefs get in his face, he's not going to respond. Plus, I don't really believe that this Colts team can stop the Chiefs' offense, so now you have the Colts playing catch-up on offense, which works into the Chiefs' hands. That's with Michael Pittman back. If Michael Pittman doesn't play, I think you can bump the Chiefs up even higher. And we'll end with my stud defense of the week. It's the Dallas Cowboys, who I have up at 2nd for this week, even though consensus has them 7th. They're 2nd in the NFL in tackles for a loss and 3rd in sacks through 2 games, which is huge now that they face a Giants team that's given up 8 sacks in 2 games. The Giants have really struggled to protect Daniel Jones, and I know Brian Daboll will scheme ways to get the ball out of his hand quickly, but I think the Cowboys are going to bring pressure against this offensive line. It's going to lead to some bad throws by Jones, which will lead to some turnovers. He got lucky on a couple of those throws against the Panthers last week. He's not going to get lucky against an opportunistic defense like the Cowboys. They came to play and responded against the Bengals. I expect them to do the same thing in primetime on Monday night against the Giants. As a reminder, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to this video to get all of our RotoBaller content during the football season. Waiver wire shows, start-sit shows, rankings, DFS. We've got it all for you to make you some money and win you some fantasy football leagues this year.